just finished recording the first chapter of my audiobook. I just say recording because I haven't done any editing, nothing. It's just raw. I'm testing this out to see how it goes, but I'm using Logic, and thankfully there's a really, really good, simple way to cut out all noise reduction so I don't have to do too much work other than splicing where I have gotten sentences that I messed up and had to go ahead and repeat those sentences again. So I'm excited to listen to it back, not today because I got a bunch of other stuff to do, but I'll come back and work on it later, and it's hopefully going to sound really cool. Hey guys, ETJ Writes here. I'm in the studio getting ready to keep recording my audiobook of Thorunn. I did the first chapter already. It's been a bit of a difficult process because I really don't know much about mastering and things like that, and Amazon has very specific requirements, but I finally got something that I think is going to work. So hopefully all I have to do is apply that channel to every single track that I record, and we'll go from there. You guys can see my setup here. I am ready to record chapter 2. If you look here on the computer, I have gotten the first chapter uploaded after a long and arduous battle with Amazon. And then here's what I'm using for Logic. So I got to just copy and paste, make a new track, and go from there. In the studio recording again. I have sunglasses on because it's actually really bright in here and I'm going to get a migraine if I don't have some kind of eye protection while I'm looking at the bright computer screen and the lights from above. But it also needs to be bright so I can read the words. So it's kind of a catch-22 situation here, but it's been working out. So I am on to chapter 3 now. I've just got to edit it. I recorded it last night and we are a go from here. I can't tell you how happy I am right now. I've been working at this for 7 hours. I don't 100% know what I'm doing, but Amazon finally accepted my chapter 2 file. Let's go! It's now time to edit. I will say that editing is probably my least favorite part of this process. I love editing videos, but editing audio is just, it's tedious. You just have to make sure you're removing things and not putting too much space and not running things into each other and getting rid of like weird sounds. Sometimes when I had to redo sentences and things like that. The actual recording is pretty enjoyable. I like that a lot. But the actual editing, it's not hard. It just takes a long time. Something happened and I accidentally deleted half the chapter I'd recorded. Was panicking, but then I remembered that Logic has backup files, so I managed to find them in the folder and copy them back into the program. Whew, disaster averted. Well, I must be doing something right because ACX accepted my file after only 3 attempts this time. I've been trying to get ACX to accept my file upload for almost 2 hours. Finally took it. I still haven't figured out what the secret formula is to get the RMS and the dB to raise or lower because it seems to differ with every single file, which I really can't figure out why that is the case. So I try one setting, doesn't work. I try another setting. Sometimes I just reset it back to how it was originally, and that does the trick despite it not working in the first place. I was having an issue with crackling in my headphones, so I switched out my jack, and I think that will have fixed it. Hopefully that will improve audio quality going forward. Thankfully, I seem to have caught this at about chapter 6, but it was really annoying me that I was hearing this crackling in the background. We're just going to have to power through it because I don't have the time and energy to re-record everything that I've re-recorded. But yeah, hopefully this will be better going forward because the intro, chapter 1, chapter 2, part of chapter 3 are okay. Chapter 4 is where it's a little iffy. Chapter 5 we had some issues with, and the beginning of chapter 6, and then hopefully the end of chapter 6 moving forward we should be smooth sailing. It's one of those things that hopefully when you're listening to it, it doesn't bug you too much, and you can kind of look past some of the background noises and get on with the story. But hopefully it will be a lot better from now on out, and when you're listening to it, you're like, okay, things improve a little bit at chapter 6. These are prescription sunglasses. I do not have a shade for this light up here, so if I stand here and record this with this bright screen, I end up with a migraine because the light is so bright. So the sunglasses help me out. They're prescription so I can actually see what I'm reading, because otherwise I would be really struggling. So that is how we're going to proceed to record this here. It's Lane. It's late, sweetheart. You should be at home. I couldn't be there with Gordon. He had this paper. Lane still held it, he realized suddenly. He'd never put the notice down, and now it was a soggy, crumpled mess in his hand. Mom saw and reached for it. Lane shook his head, but when she fixed him with a look, no less stern for her trembling one countenance. Lane shook his head, but when she fixed him with a look, no less stern for her trembling one countenance, he handed the paper over and watched her anxiously as she read the writ inscribed upon it. "It can't be true," she said in a faint voice. She smoothed out the document, unwrinkling each corner. "Your father would never." Lane bit his lip. Maybe not. Mom was so biased towards Dad, being his wife and all. Maybe not. Mom was biased towards Dad, being his wife and all, so of course she'd think the allegations were false. Gordon, on the other hand, was his uncle, Dad's older brother, someone who should be in his corner no matter what, and he'd been sitting alone in his house drinking away the news. Would he have done that if convinced of Dad's innocence? Peter popped into the room while Mom was still reading and steered Lane out with a strength that belied his wiry frame. "Heard you were in again. Thought I'd catch you here. Look, this isn't my ward, but I figured the news would be best coming from me instead of anyone else." Lane jerked forward and swore, the harsh four-letter word punching the air the same moment the bowl of candy tumbled to the floor. Peter jumped up, but not in time to stop Lane from upending the table, tiny fragments of glass flying everywhere as the top shattered on the unforgiving linoleum floor. Did I say that right? Linoleum? I'm going to try it one more time. Peter jumped up, but not in time to stop Lane from upending the table, tiny fragments of glass flying everywhere as the top shattered on the unforgiving linoleum floor. Linoleum floor. I'm going to hope I said linoleum. Linoleum. I can't say linoleum for whatever reason. I don't know why I've written linoleum in the story. I read it fine in my mind, but linoleum is, for whatever reason, a hard word to pronounce. Just don't ask me why. "Lane," he barked. "I know you're upset." He barely dodged the fist Lane threw his way, getting an arm around Lane and pinning him to his chest. "But you can't go around destroying property, in a hospital no less." Lane wriggled and struggled, managing to break free. Lane wriggled and struggled, managing to break free when Peter activated his clip, no doubt to bring security down on his head. He swore at Peter again, screaming at him while staying just out of reach. An alarm went off, the lights in the room flashing red, and Lane bolted. Wonder of wonders, ACX accepted my file on the second try. Had to switch out the cable for the microphone because I think that, rather than the headphone jacks, was causing the issue with the crackling. I'm in the recording booth, mentally preparing myself to record this chapter. I've been thinking about it all day. It's one of the more emotionally charged chapters, and it was tough writing. It's very satisfying reading back, and I think it's going to be even tougher performing it. Well, I got through the really emotionally charged part. There are other emotionally charged parts in this book, but this is the one that I just had to psych myself up for, because I had to get in the mind space, in the headspace of the character, and I actually sat down to record about an hour before I actually started recording, because I ended up fiddling around and doing stuff and delaying and putting things off, and it ended up working out because I realized what I was doing with copying the files was making the files be like 10 gigs worth of data when they only need to be like 3 at most. So I fixed that issue, but yeah, it's got through it. I've got more emotionally charged stuff to go through, but like the big moment is done. It's done. And now I'm gonna take a break, because just as I thought, performing it stirred up a lot of feelings, and I want to be able to sleep peacefully, so gotta take a break. So plans have changed. Originally, I thought that if I worked really, really hard on this, I could have the audiobook done by Christmas. And theoretically, that's still true. That could happen. I have enough time, just enough time to make that happen. But I'm starting to feel in like a lot of pain on this side of my body. Like my neck is hurting. It's making my head hurt. Like everything is just starting to be physically very uncomfortable. And if I push myself all the way until Christmas, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be good. So I'm just going to finish editing out chapter 10. I have like 5 minutes left of audio, and I think 3 minutes left of completed audio when I'm all done with it. Get it uploaded, and then I am going to take a break. And from now on, I think what I'm going to have to do is like 3 weeks on, 1 week off. Because if I keep going at the pace I'm going to seriously hurt myself. And that's not worth it for an audiobook. So I'm going to have to take some time and just let my body recover, and then understand that I'm not going to have this audiobook done by Christmas, and that's okay. I finally finished working on chapter 11. I have 3 small sections to re-record, but it's like literally like 3 seconds worth of audio. It's like a second's worth of each. So I just have to re-record that. Some things that I didn't quite pronounce properly and I wasn't able to cut it together. There were a lot of little sections in this chapter that I was able to cut together, but not those. They just didn't quite work. And I have been working on it in minute increments. Like when I say minute increments, I mean it'll take me like an hour to work through a minute's worth of audio, processed audio. This chapter was only 18 minutes long. It's come out to be only 18 minutes long, and it has taken me weeks, like 2 weeks, to get through 18 minutes worth of audio. And actually just tonight, in 90 minutes, I managed to get through 3 minutes worth, and it's probably the most I've done in this chapter at one time, but I knew I was nearing the end and I could push through it. But I had to take that week off, and then I was not feeling well for a couple days, which forced me to take a couple more days off. And then I have not been doing Wednesdays or Sundays, and my shoulder is feeling much, much, much better. I was feeling a lot of pain. Like it was just really bad pain. I'm still having soreness and I'm still having a strain, but it's not like that intense like pain that was going into my neck and shoulder and starting to give me stress, pain throughout other areas of my body. So that is something that I'm very grateful for. I'm thankful that I figured that out. So it's just gonna, this audiobook is gonna take as long as it takes. Once I re-record those small little sections, then all I have to do is bounce the audio and upload this file, and then after that I will have to just start recording, which I think will take most of next week, especially if I take a break here and there. Then the week after that is the week that's like my mandatory break week now, and given that my arm feels so much better, I think after this break week, then I am going to be pretty much on the path to recovery, and I am definitely not doing NaNoWriMo this year. That would burn me out. I would probably be very unwell. So this is the only thing that I'm really going to work on. And then of course the week of Thanksgiving will be my break week, and then we'll be back at it. And I am hoping that I will be able to go back to 90-minute sessions once my arm feels better, and that will allow me to get through a little bit sooner. I'm hoping by the holidays I'll get, if I try really hard, maybe chapter 16. If not, it's going to be like chapter 14, because chapter 12 and 13 are kind of monsters. And then chapter 14 is a little bit shorter. So I think I'll get to chapter 14 maybe by the new year. And 16 would be great. But if not, chapter 14. And then that would give me about 7 more chapters to go. And I'm getting there. But it's just going to take as long as it takes. I am a little bit more than halfway through the novel. I'm working on editing chapter 13. It's been a slog. My shoulder, arm, neck, back, whatever you want to call it, wherever the pain was, has finally recovered. I'm doing my best to not exacerbate it again. Right now I can only edit in about hour bursts. If I do more than that, I start to feel the tingling return, and we just don't want it to get to the point where it was before, but I am getting there. I've realized that certain parts of editing are more tedious than others. If I'm able to just go straight through, it's not too bad. But if I have a lot of dialogue, although I love listening to the dialogue, I tend to do multiple takes to get the best nuance. And that takes it out of me, because sometimes I splice takes together and it has to be as smooth as possible, etc., etc. The other thing that's working is giving myself 3 weeks on and then a week off. And recently I had to do 4 weeks on and then a week off, or else I would have ended up having 2 weeks off, and I am trying to only have 1 week off. But like I said, I'm pretty much recovered, feeling a lot better. I can keep slogging away at it. I would love to get myself back up to doing 2-hour sessions, but right now, 1 hour, sometimes just 45 minutes is all I can manage. I've almost wrapped chapter 16. I have a blanket on because I get a little cold down here. Thankfully, it's not as cold as it was in the middle of winter. It was getting down to almost 0 degrees. I had multiple layers of clothing on, heater on, blankets, and somehow I still pushed through. Very happy now that it's getting warmer, and looking forward to finishing up this chapter and moving on to chapter 17. I think once we hit chapter 19, we'll really be in the end game. Vocal warm-ups. Me, 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 me. Me, me. Me, 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 me. Me, me. Me, 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 me. Me, me. Me, 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 me. Me, me. Me, 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 me. Me, me. Me, 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 me. Me, me. Me, 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 me. Me, me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Mama, 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 may, 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 moo, 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 mo, 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 my, 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 may, 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 mo, 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 may, ma, 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 ma. All right, hit record. Let's check it to make sure we are on. I see it going. Just listen to it back, or else you end up re-recording the whole thing because you've done it wrong. And again, I see the sound. We are going to hit record here. And we are halfway through chapter 18. Gonna get that finished recorded here, and then it's on to editing. And it is June now, so I want to get all of chapter 18 done by the end of June, maybe even start beginning of chapter 19. So sometimes when I'm recording, I have to say the previous sentence so that I can get in the flow of where the next sentence picks up. Because I have a sentence and then a long wall of text and then the next sentence. So to get the last lines right, I have to say it like this. Nice to meet you, Ken. It's Lane's voice. Lane's voice, deeper and more pronounced. Nice to meet you, Kenton. Nice to meet you, Kenton. I'm Jack. Jack Riven. Nice to meet you, Kenton. I'm Jack. Jack Riven. And there we have it. There we have it. And that wraps up chapter 18. We're finished with chapter 18, and then we're going to go on to chapter 19. Hopefully at the end of this month, but if not, we will do it in July, which is really exciting. I'm about to start recording chapter 20. We're getting there. It's been a long time, coming off of a week break after really pushing myself to finish chapter 19, but I am refreshed and ready. Just wrapped on recording and editing chapter 20, so I am more than 80% through the book. Really excited about that. Just a few more chapters to go. I am getting ready to record chapter 21, but I just thought of my name for chapter 22. For the longest time, I haven't had a clue what I wanted to call it. It was just a blank space. Other things I had some ideas, but this one just a blank space, and suddenly I know. It's going to be the very first lines from chapter 22. It's perfect. Today is an exciting and momentous day because today's the day that I am going to record chapter 23, which is the last chapter in my book. I do have the coda, which is the epilogue, and the glossary yet to record after that, but they are substantially shorter than chapter 23, which is going to be very long. I anticipate it running about 90 minutes, perhaps slightly longer, maybe slightly shorter, but definitely over an hour. I'm very, very excited and happy to finally have made it to chapter 23. I didn't know it was going to take me this long, but I have persevered and I'm finally here, almost at the end of the story. We're getting there. I've finally made it to the end of chapter 23. It is uploaded, and so now all I have to do is the coda and glossary. Yay! It has been a long time working on this one chapter. It was a very long chapter. And that's a wrap on recording. The glossary's done, the about the author is done, and the closing credits are done. Just gotta edit them, and we'll be all finished. Popping on real quick with the news that my audiobook has just gone live. I'm not quite ready to announce it yet. I've got to take some more promo pictures and stuff. I just wanted to make sure 100% that Amazon wouldn't reject it before I started getting all the promo stuff ready. Well, I finally did it, and this is the last video in this vlog. Look at it. Here it is on the Audible app. I'm just so excited that it is available. I'll go ahead and hit play. On repeat on the Father High's bulletin board. Less than a month, and he already occupied the spot of honor reserved for outstanding students. Mom was happy with good grades he'd been. Of course, you can listen to it with wired headphones or wireless. It'll go great in the car, if you're just in the garden enjoying nature, when you're taking walks. This was definitely a long journey. I started this audiobook a year after I published the book, and I thought it would only take me a short time to do it. But then I took a break and didn't end up getting back into it until around 2024, and I thought I would have it finished by the end of 2024, but as you know from watching earlier parts of this vlog, I ended up with severe pain and I was unable to keep going at the pace that I had been going. So instead I had to rework some things, and it took me a lot longer. So then I thought, okay, well, maybe I won't have it by the end of 2024, but I'll have it done by the middle of 2025. Well, that was pretty optimistic, and then I thought maybe I'll have it done by the end of 2025, and that was also fairly optimistic. But it is now mid-2026, it's done, it's available for purchase. I'll put the link in the description below. It has over 40 voiced characters, and I just really had a fun time doing the recording. The editing was where it really stressed me out, and if I were to do something like this again, I think I'd need a team. But the recording was definitely a lot of fun. I had some very specific ideas in mind of how I wanted them to sound, and I just didn't want to hand that over to anyone else at this point. Here's the actual official copy, and I have it on my iPad here on the Audible. And shout out to my great cover artist who was able to pull the original file and create an Audible cover that matched what I have on the book, and that was really helpful. This is the end of my very long journey fighting with the software that I didn't really understand how to use, and just pushing through on days where it was really cold. There were days where I was freezing cold working on this, and then there were days where it was a little warmer. It wasn't too bad, but I'm just so happy that I finished, and I was happy when I got it all uploaded, but when Amazon sent me the notification that my book was live, I felt so free. Finally, I can say that I saw this project through from beginning to end. It's completed. I'm so happy. And as a special bonus, if you watch this video all the way to the very end and you are watching this segment, I will offer you a free copy of the Audible book of Thorunn. All you have to do is be following my ETJ Writes account on Instagram, and you can DM me on that account and just let me know, hey, I watched all the way to the end of the video on your ETJ Writes YouTube channel, and I would like to claim my free copy of Thorunn. And this offer is good for the first 25 people who DM me. That brings us to the end of this saga. Now we move into promo mode and just letting everybody know that Thorunn is here and you can listen to all 13 hours of it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy reading.